Good morning, everyone. My name is Bo Kennedy. It's 9:04, so I'm just saying hello to everybody and making sure that you can see everything that we're about to show. Tremendous. Thank you, Spencer. All right. My name is Bo Kennedy. I'm the Director of Infrastructure Operations at Fulcrum for the MSP. So the team that supports infrastructure systems reports to me. I have a great team, and in fact, most of what you're going to see today is facilitated because of them. I have always been fascinated with coding, but I've never had the discipline or the talent to really make it work. But once AI became a thing, and we started a event at Fulcrum called a hackathon, where we have our team members go and produce products, essentially things that can help the company improve, tools we use internally, using AI coding. And when I saw the effort that they were able to produce without really much coding background in some cases, or if they had their coding background, they were encouraged to use AI. They were able to produce some pretty amazing stuff. And it inspired me because I've always wanted to put something together. I love giving instructions and giving ideas, but I'm not always necessarily following through. And I realized if I could get AI to do the work for me, that would make things much more fun. So I started a project that had me greatly interested for a long time. If anybody's ever wanted to buy a 3D printer and couldn't think of a reason, here's a good reason. I decided that everyone that contributes to FCON should be able to receive a plaque of some kind for the effort that they put into their event, and to recognize their time and their efforts. Let me make sure I don't have double microphones here. Apologies. Doesn't look like it. Anyway, we have great productions done by a number of very talented people each year, and we want to provide something to say thank you for that. So we wanted to generate these plaques, but rather than go out and have them made, so why not print them ourselves? If we can print them ourselves, then that gives us an excuse to buy a 3D printer. And if we're going to buy a 3D printer, why don't we go ahead and take it to the next level? And this comes to the big one. If anybody has Alexa or Siri or any of their other voice agents at home, you know, they can do some pretty cool stuff. Somewhat limited, but it's entirely with ecosystems that are from someone else. I decided I wanted to see if I could use a voice agent to print eventually whatever I want on the 3D printer simply by issuing commands verbally. So what we started with is very simple. Can we do this? Is it possible? I went to, in this case, ChatGPT, and I'll explain a little bit why I chose that one, to see if we could produce a listening API, a web API for uploading the print jobs, and then the ability to transmit those over to the print software, which would then go to the printer, which you can't see but is right behind me. Ideally, this would be something entirely hands-free. In the future, I would sure like the ability for you to have a picture you like, just drop that on your desktop, run this voice agent, say, hey, take that picture, upload it to a 3D designer, convert that into slices, send it to the printer, and let's print that out and see what it looks like. Very rapid prototyping. You can just describe what you want to do. It's not necessarily a time saver because obviously you could type things in pretty quickly, but it's still pretty cool to be able to use your voice agent. Someday we all want to be able to print a suit of Iron Man armor for ourselves, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to go down that road. How easy can this be done? It's actually really easy, as it turns out. So what's the goal? The goal is to be able to use voice control to issue a command, very simple, do it over a secure network without the risk of it being compromised. We want to be able to demonstrate it working, and then we want to be able to enhance this as we go with any additional capabilities that we can come up with. It has to be essentially cost effective. In this case, the goal is once you've bought the printer and you have a couple of other items, we want this to be entirely free. You shouldn't have to do anything. If you have a Claude account and you have a 3D printer and you have a PC, everything I'm about to describe you can do. So this comes down to what is involved. What's the architectural plan? Now, I have a little bit of background in these areas, but I'm no expert. And this is a genuine proof that pretty much anyone can do this. All of the components you're going to see in here, while I've heard of them and have some familiarity, I'm not a developer, so I would not know how to go about coding these or putting them together. I would pretty much have to go online and be beaten down by internet trolls telling me that I need to go read the documentation. Fortunately for me, the AI systems are always much nicer than trolls, and they're more than happy to read the documentation for me. I can simply tell them what I want it to do, and it will put it together for me. In this case, there's a number of pieces that had to come into this, things that I'd never heard of, like the Whisper API, which is the listening component that ChatGPT has available from OpenAI. Running a React environment, which many of our team members are big fans of, but I know just enough about it to be dangerous. But I don't know how to install it or get it started without having to go read a bunch of documentation. And of course, I need scripts to be able to not only run the system, but also to perform testing to make sure that it works as I go. All of these things are pretty easy for me to produce using AI, and it would probably be something I would get started and never finish if I wasn't using AI. The basic components here are the fast API backend. That's what chat uses to interface with the system that you're going to be sending jobs to. It is entirely something that chat can deploy for you. You can tell it you want it to do something. It says, I'm going to use a fast API. We'll set it up. We'll handle all the loads. We'll do the jobs, etc. You're like, okay, that sounds great to me. We need a front end, something that you can look at that shows the actual interface, which that's what this is. I'll demonstrate a little bit more as we get a little farther in. Then I need something that can actually listen so that once I send the commands to the system, it listens to those, hears them, converts them over to command structure, and then sends those to that front end so that it can then handle those jobs. I don't want to have to write anything. I want this to be written for me. And chat is able to produce all of that in PowerShell, write the commands for you, create the scripts. You can get really crazy with it and say, you know what, write a built-in logging for that. So if anything goes wrong, I can upload the logs and you can tell me what didn't work. And also, of course, control, you need to be able to do stop, start, restart. You want to have some flexibility without having to go manually run a bunch of scripts. One of the elements that is important to this, of course, is you have to have some mechanism for actually listening. So you're going to need a microphone driver. And that's another thing I learned as I went. That microphone drivers are not all the same. Some work well, some don't. Some require admin privileges to run. If I had been doing this myself, I would have been very frustrated. I could just say, hey, it ain't working. What's wrong? And it would say, show me the error message. I would show the error and it said, oh, we probably need to run that as with admin privileges. That's awesome. Now, the best part about all of this is after you've gone through creating this, and I'll show you the folder structure and all the things that it put together for me. I can also tell it, you know, I want to be able to deploy this wherever I want to use it. I want to take it to work. I want to use it for my home printer. I want to share it with friends, put it on the internet. Bundle this up for me so that I can distribute it. It's all open source. There's no proprietary stuff in here. I want to be able to give it away, and it can do it. It can put it all together. I said, make a package for me, bundle all the components that you're able. Anything that you're not able to bundle in there, please add a script to do the installers so that it'll download the code necessary. I want all of this to be in one package. And then, of course, we've got two pieces to this. You've got the front end, the deployment piece to send the jobs to the actual printer. And then you have the voice agent, which is something that has to listen. The voice agent, you don't want that necessarily running 24 hours a day. You don't want it listening and sending jobs off to buy bags of candy for your kids or whatever happens with Alexa. So you want to be able to turn that off. I've actually got it set so I can start and stop the voice agent very simply, but I would probably take this the next step and have a little app that you can just click a button and it would say, yeah, what do you want me to do? And it would listen as long as you had the button active, and you could click the button to turn it off. Another thing that's important is you can do this in a couple of ways with most 3D printers. You can have those printers online using the online API and using the web app and your mobile app and all of that. Or in our case, where we want to keep this printer secure and internal, you can say, I want this to run LAN only. So this entire bundle, with the exception of the voice translation agent, the Whisper, is entirely in-house. It doesn't have to go outside the network. So I want something that I can simply run a script and it will install everything for me. Once I've got it installed, I want to be able to just go and say, launch this application. I've created a script using a ChatGPT that will let me start, let me stop, exit out. Very straightforward. I've also got a number of scripts that I've had it build to do testing just to make sure things were working along the way. And I actually built into the development path, run these scripts as part of the deployment to make sure things are working as you deploy them. I'm just telling it what I want it to do. I don't have to tell it how to do it. So once you run this bundle, install it, it will then do all these steps. It'll make sure that Fast API is working, that React is running. It'll launch the voice agent, and then I can just start speaking. As I said below, it's all local. There's nothing necessary to go out to the internet except for the Whisper API. And technically, you can actually do Whisper on-prem. It's just a much more limited vocabulary. So in theory, this could be completely off the grid. So I do have a demo workflow, which I'm not going to show today, but it's very easy for you to see it. I could demonstrate it, and I'll show some of the windows so you can see that it's running. But as you can see from this, not only can you have this build the package, you can also run all the test scripts. You can have it do a demo so it can actually show you work. You can actually have it send a job to the printer very easily, all strictly through what has been created by ChatGPT. Now, this is a key piece to me is if we're going to have a printer, we don't want it getting taken over by a hostile party or somebody sending a job to it that we don't anticipate. So we do want it isolated. Obviously, the one key thing you have to do when you're using any APIs, you have to have an API key. So that's something you want to make sure you get from your chat client. And then you want to store that in a secure place. In our case, we've got it stored in our password vault. Don't store those in a text file. And of course, we have to run this with some level of admin privileges in order for the microphone driver to work. In this case, I've got it on the Wi-Fi network. We have a guest Wi-Fi, so that it's isolated from the primary network. But it could be at any location. It can't be hardwired because these printers don't have hardwiring. They're Wi-Fi only. So that's why we started in the guest network. And other than what's running on my machine, whichever one is running this task, there's no persistent data. This is all something we can rebuild at any time. Now, I did run into some problems as I was building this, as you might imagine. Nothing is super smooth. AI is not perfect. It does make mistakes. But the nice thing about AI is when you tell it makes a mistake, it doesn't gripe at you. It just goes and says, what can I do to help you? So we went through a couple of iterations trying to find a voice agent that would listen and function with the microphone, to find some pathing, correct some pathing issues, things like that. But as you go, all you have to do is say, make a script to correct that. And when you build this bundle for me, make sure that you check that up front so that when you're deploying this bundle in the future to another machine, it knows to check for those things and make sure they're working. And then, of course, we want to have a script that we can use to test it. So I'm going to show a little bit of the bundle that was created at the end of this, but I do want to show that the goal of this is to be able to print any job. I want to be able to run multiple printers under a central management system, be able to say I need to have these jobs. So if I had a large scale operation, I could actually queue up a number of jobs and have them run in sequence. The printer behind me can support up to 16 colors. 16 color jobs would take quite a while to print, but they would look very nice. You could have a whole batch of printers and do a number of jobs, all sending jobs to print strictly through voice commands. Of course, we didn't build any role-based or access permissions into this first generation because it was just a test. But in the future, you'd want to have an authentication level where you had to use multi-factor to be able to run, to send a job. There's a number of things you would want to add into that. Now, as you can see the plaque on the screen here, this is the plan for this year. Everyone that is a participant this year is going to receive one of these. It will be have their name on it as an inscription. They'll be in the upper left corner. Then they'll have a little picture there that shows what event they did, the year. And the goal is to send these to everybody who's ever actually contributed content in the past, so we can show the history of FCON as we've gone forward. Next year's a big year for us, 2026. And personally, I would like to add LEDs and all kinds of things on the back of this And as you'll see in our show these next few days, there's a number of people on our team capable of doing things like that would make it look really nice. So that's the general process. I went about this as if I was going to be producing this for a commercial conversation, like showing an organization or a business how they could use voice commands to send jobs to printers. Well, probably a little ways away from when that is going to be necessary, but as you can see down at the bottom of the screen, I've already got my suit of armor designed that I plan on printing out when we get to that point. Now, as a part of this, I said, I want to tell the story of how this was designed. And I want to not only create a bundle, but I want to be able to share that with anyone who might want to do the same thing or try a similar type of job. Say, I want to use a 3D printer to do something else, turn the lights on and off in my house or whatever. So I said, write me a notebook, describe what it can do. Go ahead and give me a PDF that shows everything that I went through. This is the abbreviated version, so you can see it. But as you can see, it's got the software stack of what it used. It's got the data flow, the folder structure of all the pieces it built. And then, of course, the steps in here for how it's going to, how you deploy it, how it's self-healing, how the voice layer works. I'm going to start the microphone driver in a minute, so you'll be able to hear it. The security and offline operation details, etc., what you can see down here. A couple other things that I really like about this is when you've written this bundle up and you've got the code and the PDF, I could drop that into any other AI system and say, figure this out, discover this, and now take that on as a new project. So you could actually take this and drop it into your Claude or some other coding platform, and it would be able to pick it right up because it has the guide of why the decisions were made, what the steps were. So that's really the idea: is taking a project, taking it with you, and then bringing it into what your preferred platform is. Now, as you can see here, these are the front end pieces that we had deployed when I first put it together. I said, I want to have a front end that I can just go ahead and manually upload jobs to it if I choose to. And it lets me do that. And I can send a job to the printer the old fashioned way. And this is the back end that it stood up, and it shows you the scripts you can look to see, is it healthy? What jobs are queued up? If I'm going too fast, I can slow down. Of course, not allowed right here. That's just an error message. And then this is the print job that it sent recently for testing, but that one's already queued up or is already gone. But as you can see here, it's showing you what jobs you have scheduled to send to the printer. Now, one last thing, and this, I'm going to share a different window for this. So this is the front end, the basic, the script that I used to start and stop it. Again, I didn't write a single line of code in this. If I had, it wouldn't work. But if I were to run here and just start up this particular node, and I'll show the folder structure. Let's just describe what's in it. You can see the files that are in this location. These are all things created by the AI for the voice agent. There's several different pieces to it. Of course, there's the back end, the front end, and so on. But the voice agent is the one that's really cool because it can listen to what I'm saying. Everything here was built for me.
Voice agent online and listening.
And as you hopefully heard, it is now listening to what I'm trying to say. Now, it's currently blocked from going out, so it's not actually transmitting my voice out to whisper. But this is the way it works. And I think actually it's pretty cool. It's really inspired me for a couple of reasons. One is as soon as I finished this first package, I realized that this is a great way for me to do any other lightweight project I might need to do for my office. Say, for example, I want to create some really cool graphs. I could do those in Power BI, and I can use Power BI. But if I'm no expert in that, I can simply go into my chat or my Claude or whatever and say, I need a page with some graphs using this data. And it'll build you a React bundle, just like what we went through for this voice agent or something else. You can tell it to make a script to launch it. You can tell it to tweak the page to show different particular colors or whatever. And you can quickly make a presentation online in about 10 minutes, which is, I don't know about you, but as much as I hate PowerPoint, I still can't do PowerPoint in less than 10 minutes. So it was amazing, the experience to go through this. And it's really inspired me to do all sorts of hobby projects using not just voice agents, but anything that I can build within a chat coding environment. So I hope that you've enjoyed this presentation. I hope it is inspired you to maybe go about creating some of your own home projects simply by going in and coding with an AI. I think that it's most definitely the next big thing for all of us home hobbyists who want to take the time to build things and don't ever actually get around to it. This is fascinating stuff, and I'm really looking forward to doing more of it. Now, I do want to say before I check out that I want you to remind you to please go to the vendor expo and say hello to our sponsors who have generously participated in this event. If you visit all the vendor booths, you will be entered in the raffle for our grand raffle. And of course, every sponsor is also doing their own individual raffles, so you can go visit with them and they'd be happy to speak with you. And I'm sure many of us will be in there as well. You'll be able to interact with us. So thank you for joining me with this journey. It was a lot of fun, and I really look forward to doing more of it in the future.